If you see a little less spring in my step, if your name fails to leap to my lips, you'll know why.
August 9th, 2002, actor Charlton Heston announcing today that he has Alzheimer's disease. But he's vowing not to give up or give in. The news starts now.
Now, Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening. We begin with that developing story involving actor Charlton Heston.
Just a couple of hours ago, the man who millions know as Moses let the world know that he likely has Alzheimer's. CBS News reporter Drew Levinson filed this report moments ago.
Charlton Heston wanted to play Moses in the Ten Commandments.
Who am I, Lord?
And he wanted to be the star of Ben-Hur, the most honored film of all time. But his latest role is one he's being forced to accept. In a recorded statement, the 78-year-old actor said it appears he has Alzheimer's disease. Heston wanted to make the announcement now because later he might not be able.
For an actor, there's no greater loss than the loss of his audience. I can part the Red Sea, but I can't part with you, which is why I won't exclude you from this stage in my life.
Heston won an Oscar in 1959 for Ben-Hur, but his most notable credit lately has come as president of the National Rifle Association.
Heston's announcement is reminiscent of when Ronald Reagan wrote a letter to America revealing he too was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. They are just two of approximately 4 million Americans who have this disease. It affects the brain and eventually the memory.
Heston said, like Reagan, Martin Luther King, and JFK, he's a fighter, and he plans to keep working.
For now, I'm not changing anything. I'll insist on work when I can. The doctors will insist on rest when I must.
And Heston doesn't want sympathy, just a little patience.
If you see a little less spring in my step, if your name fails to leap to my lips, you'll know why. And if I tell you a funny story for the second time, please, laugh anyway.
With 150 TV and movie credits to his name, Charlton Heston said, as an actor, he's lived not one life, but many. And for that, he's thankful. Drew Levinson, CBS News, New York.
Remarkable. Nancy Reagan released a statement this afternoon praising Heston's courage at coming forward. Of course, her husband, former President Ronald Reagan, has struggled with Alzheimer's for more than a decade now.
The other big story we're following right now is the State Department investigation of 2 Pakistanis arrested in New London about a week ago. Agents spent yesterday searching the apartment the 2 men shared. Channel 3's Kim Fettig is joining us live in New London now with the latest. Kim?
Denise, tonight we're learning that the 2 Pakistani nationals had been here in New London for about 2 weeks before the feds tracked them down. And even though they are in custody tonight, there are still questions about how they got those visas, why they were in the United States, and for how long. Federal agents spent hours searching these New London apartments on Thursday, the apartment complex where 2 Pakistani nationals had been staying for the weeks before they were arrested on charges involving fake visas.
I saw him frequently, almost every other day about it.
21-year-old Nabil Nazar was arrested at the complex last week. 27-year-old Aftab Hussein was picked up the same day at this Exxon station. The owner of the gas station off camera told us that he returned from his homeland of Pakistan to find that the men had been hanging out at his store with another worker. He didn't know the men and was shocked to find the federal agents in his store that he's fought so hard to build. The government believes that these men could be part of a bigger web of aliens involved in a bribery scheme at the U.S. Embassy in Qatar.
I think it's good that they look into him because of what happened and how easily that happened.
But outside the federal courthouse on Wednesday, an attorney who spoke to both Hussein and Nazar had his own theories as to why the 2 may have been in New London.
Why in the summer we go to Italy? Why we go to France? Why we go to Jamaica? Exactly. I mean, people come visiting. It's a visitor visa.
Today I talked to a State Department spokesman who said they are looking at these men as part of that bigger web of aliens, but right now there is no indication that they are linked to terrorism. Both of them are expected to be arraigned in a Hartford court next week. Live in New London, I'm Kim Fettig, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
5 years after kidnapping her son and leaving the state, Bonnie Rubenstein today faced a Connecticut judge. That judge ordered Rubenstein held on a $500,000 bond. Rubenstein took off with her son Randy back in 1997, one day after the courts had given custody to the child's father. Police found Rubenstein in Florida just a few weeks ago. And coming up tonight at 6, Bonnie Rubenstein's attorney explains why he thinks the fugitive mother will soon be reunited with Randy.
A 1-year-old Hartford boy is in stable condition tonight after falling from a third-story window. This happened last evening at the boy's home on Homestead Avenue. Police say the boy plunged about 25 feet from a rear bedroom, and they say he had been left unattended. Now, we're going to have the latest on this investigation in a live report coming up at 5:30.
And we have a follow-up tonight on the car crash that damaged a Hartford museum. Preservationists have been working all week to try to put the pieces back together. And museum officials today had to ask volunteers to stay home. They needed to brace the walls after some showed some signs of weakness. An out-of-control SUV ran into the museum on Sunday, damaging colonial furniture, artwork, and other items more than 2 centuries old.
In western Connecticut tonight, somebody's been stealing dozens of mailboxes and road signs, and residents fear somebody's going to be hurt. Among the stolen signs, we saw the stop signs, and there are other important traffic instructions, speed limits, and so on. As for the mailboxes, some were bashed in and literally ripped out of the ground. Wanted flyers have been posted everywhere. Town selectmen are now considering offering a reward.
The state of Massachusetts tonight has suspended the license of a doctor who recently left in the middle of surgery to run an errand. The patient was left under anesthesia. Now the doctor is left trying to explain his actions. Channel 3's Dennis House is in the newsroom now with more on that story. Dennis?
Denise, good evening. It is the story that has people talking tonight. A doctor who actually ran to the bank in the middle of surgery. And tonight we're learning more about the reason he left the operating room.
That's outrageous. That's very outrageous. Where was the supervisor? There should be a supervisor there to see what's going on.
It's all the buzz at Mount Auburn Hospital. People who have loved ones here can't believe what the state medical board says Dr. David Arndt did. The orthopedic surgeon, according to the state, walked out of the operating room saying he had to get to the bank before it closed to deposit his check because bills were due. Now the state says he left his patient on the operating table right in the middle of spinal surgery, and the patient was under anesthesia. The state medical board report says, quote, Dr. Arndt asked the certified nurse if he could step out for 5 minutes and have another physician cover for him. The nurse said yes. Staffers said they had no clue he would be gone for so long, and they repeatedly paged him. The state report goes on to say the anesthesiologist pulled Dr. Arndt aside and told him that she thought his behavior amounted to patient abandonment. The report says he acted surprised that she was concerned. Dr. Arndt told the board he regrets what he did and that he, quote, exercised remarkably horrible judgment.
Dr. Arndt was gone for about 35 minutes. Today's Boston Herald reports that he apparently owed substantial court-ordered support payments to a former male lover, a psychiatrist who worked at that same hospital. The doctor is said to have told the board that he was in a financial crisis and had to pay overdue bills. In the newsroom, I'm Dennis House, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The man charged in the kidnapping and murder of Samantha Runnion entered a not guilty plea today. Alejandro Avila was arraigned in a Los Angeles courtroom this morning. His lawyer asked for a preliminary hearing delay, saying that she, the lawyer, has yet to receive key evidence from prosecutors. Samantha Runnion was taken from her home on July 15th. Her body was found some 50 miles away. Avila says he was at a mall at the time of the kidnapping.
New restrictions are now in place to protect the White House from a large-scale attack. The Secret Service has now banned trucks and all on-street parking for the several blocks that run alongside the White House complex. These restrictions are designed to protect the White House from any truck or car bomb attacks. Parking will still be allowed in an area where souvenir, T-shirt, and hot dog vendors are set up.
A huge explosion ripped through a building in Afghanistan today, killing 25 people and injuring 80. It happened in the city of Jalalabad at a construction company. A military commander on the scene is blaming a car bomb, but there are conflicting reports about the cause. Others say it could be an accident since explosives were stored in that building. 50 nearby homes were damaged by the blast.
Wall Street, it was a mixed day for the stock market, but taking this week as a whole, it was still a winning week for all of the major averages. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 33 points today. closing the week at 87.45, and that's more than 430 points above last Friday's close. Broader market S&P 500 rose 3 points to 908. That is a net gain of 44 points. And even though the NASDAQ fell 10 points today to 1306, that's still almost 60 points above last week.
State health experts are keeping an eye on the giant hogweed, a dangerous plant that's spreading all over Connecticut. Now it's already turned up in at least 7 spots in the state. Channel 3's Todd Kazakiewich explains why the hogweed is so dangerous and how you can avoid it.
Timber.
Botanist Betsy Corrigan is cutting down a dangerous plant.
It's giant hogweed, and it's a relatively new introduction to the state.
Although often confused for the plant cow parsnip, this plant is distinguished by a thick purple trunk and umbrella-like white flower clusters. Hogweed is not native to Connecticut, but it's becoming more common. Corrigan says it might have been spread by gardeners that like rare plants, or by wind or animals. And while it may look pretty, don't be fooled. The most dangerous part of this plant is not its flower or its seed, but its sap, a clear liquid that can cause burning, blisters, and even blindness if you come into contact with it. And it could take up to a week for those symptoms to show up.
We're concerned because not only is it a health risk, but it's also a risk to the environment.
So what should you do if you find hogweed on your property? Put on some gloves, grab a knife, and cut it down.
Bag them up, put them into a bag, and perhaps triple bag them and bring them to a waste disposal facility where you know that whatever they're disposing of is going to get incinerated.
Even after you get rid of the weed, experts recommend monitoring the area for up to 5 years to make sure the hogweed's gone for good. In Canaan, Todd Kazakiewich, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And coming up new tonight at 6, the giant hogweed takes root in yet another Connecticut community, this one close to the shore.
All right, let's check to see what's happening with people trying to get home tonight on this busy Friday night. We're Rachel Lutzker in the Timesaver Traffic Center. Rachel, 8 places where people don't want to be?
Just about every place in Hartford right now along the stretch of 91 and 84. I'll tell you that, in the shoreline too. Typical Friday, things are jammed up. We started off with a couple of earlier accidents, and we're moving barely on the eastbound side of 84. Packed in from Park Road all the way eastbound across the Bulkley Bridge. A couple of accidents in the mix just cleared away in the past 5 minutes or so. So that has, of course, added to the eastbound delay. Westbound moves a bit better, but we're sluggish out by 46 to 45, and this will take you in through West Hartford as we head up to the South Main Street exit. Let's head over to 91. Southbound direction slow from Jennings Road, just past the interchange with 84 West. Now south of town, we'll look at some reduced speeds as well in through Weathersfield. Northbound just busy up towards the Charter Oak Bridge. Shoreline Drive into New Haven jams up southbound 91 from 3 to the merge with 95. 95 itself just packed in, just out of the West Haven area. This will lead us all the way over the Q and through East Haven and Branford by the rest area before we even look at some traffic lightening up there. I'm Rachel Lutzker with the Connecticut Lottery Timesaver Traffic Report. Tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is $28 million.
The weekend is here. How will the weather affect your plans? I'll have the forecast later on.
Hundreds of thousands of those cool-looking PT Cruisers now need to cruise straight to the repair shop.
Yeah, we have a Chrysler recall in the news. We'll tell you about that after the break. And domestic diva Martha Stewart may soon make a public appearance. She'd rather forget. Details at 5:30.
You're watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News, broadcasting live from downtown Hartford. This view of Constitution Plaza.
Denise and I'll be right back.
We live in a world where things aren't always as they appear, where people try to cheat you. But the Channel 3 I-Team is looking out for you, uncovering threats to your family, exposing those who try to take advantage of you, digging a little deeper to uncover the facts, showing you both sides. The Channel 3 I-Team, uncovering the facts, in-depth investigative reports. The Channel 3 I-Team, another reason we are Connecticut's news station.
An elaborate hoax or a sign from above? A cluster of crop circles suddenly appears in a New England hay field. We'll show them to you coming up next. The yellow cage that shuttled 9 trapped miners from a flooded Pennsylvania mine up to freedom, that cage has earned a spot at the Smithsonian Institution. The problem is the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration may not want to give it up, at least until they have a replacement. Turns out that capsule is the only one of its kind in the nation. Officials from the Smithsonian say the capsule would be a cherished addition to its 3 million piece collection.
Signs is that hot new Mel Gibson movie, but in New England tonight, science fiction is turning into a real-life mystery. On Sunday, a man in Pittston, Maine, discovered these 3 giant crop circles in the middle of a hayfield. He called police, even got in touch with crop circle investigators. They say that these circles do not appear to be a prank. But on the other hand, they're not sure what caused them.
We begin tonight's consumer headlines with a recall of popular cars.
And many of these cars are brand new, too. Chrysler's recalling more than 464,000 of these PT Cruisers, model years 2001 and 2002. Problem is there could be a leak in the fuel pump. The potential danger was discovered during a government crash test, and about 25% of the same cars have another safety issue that needs to be fixed. The fuel line under the hood can rub against the air conditioning, and that could result in a fuel leak.
Pottery Barn is recalling 3,800 Star Clacker toys and 3,000 ride-on ducks because of possible defects that can become choking hazards. On the clackers, the wooden peg can come off. On the ducks, the wheels can break apart. Just return the toys for a refund, and we will repeat this recall coming up after the forecast.
All right, next time you get a hankering for a hot dog at a baseball game, you might be able to dial a dog with your cell phone. The New York Times reports there's a system called Cell Bucks that lets you dial up the concession stand, see the full menu, as well as any other merchandise they might offer. It's reportedly then charged to your credit card and delivered right to your seat during the game. Pass the mustard, all for no extra fee.
How about that? New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg wants to ban smoking in all city restaurants and bars. He says secondhand smoke is just too dangerous. Right now, restaurants have to provide separate smoking sections. The American Cancer Society praised the plan, but the New York State Restaurant Association is concerned that this potential ban will hurt business.
Now, your Doppler 3000 weather with Brian Van Aken.
Good afternoon. A beautiful day today. Just gorgeous weather. Temperatures low to mid 80s. Very low humidity, but the heat and humidity will be coming back for this weekend. Let's take a live look right now outside at the Phoenix building, and we have a beautiful afternoon and evening here for you. And for tonight, temperatures again getting down into the 50s, but not as cool as last night. Temperatures coming up a little bit for this evening and for tomorrow, too, with mostly clear skies, mostly clear as well for the shoreline. Speaking of low temperatures, let's look at the readings from this morning. We had numbers into the 40s in Danbury for an overnight low, 54 for Hartford, 51 Meriden, and Willimantic got down to 50 last night, so it was a chilly start to your Friday morning, but it will be much warmer as we go through the next few days. Right now in Hartford, 81 degrees, the dew point's still pretty low, low humidity. The humidity won't be bad for tomorrow either. It will be up a little bit. Right now in New Haven, 77 degrees and winds south at 9 miles per hour. It's 82 in Meriden, 75 for Waterbury, 75 New London. We have mostly clear skies, but a few high clouds coming in for this evening. Will just mask the sunshine a little bit for this evening. So for this weekend, we'll see abundant sunshine, warmer temperatures. Tomorrow's humidity will be okay, but high humidity as we roll into Sunday. So we'll start to feel a little bit sticky as these southwesterly winds continue to pump in the humidity and moisture into Connecticut, especially for Sunday. Here's the forecast. Tonight, mostly clear. Temperatures in the 50s and low 60s by the shoreline. For tomorrow, beautiful day once again, although a little bit hotter. Highs into the mid and upper 80s, close to 90 degrees in some of the warmer locations, and then into the low 90s possibly for Sunday. It'll be more uncomfortable out there. A chance for thunderstorms Monday afternoon and Wednesday afternoon with still warm temperatures.
I mean, it's like textbook August weather.
Yes, it's just what you'd expect for this time of year.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Connecticut's Big Brother 3 contestant may be down, but he is not out.
Oh no, ahead at 5:30 tonight, Eric Ouellette's firefighting buddies talk about the new shocking developments from last night's episode.
And here's one more look at tonight's recall information. Write it down. It's a bird, it's a plane. You see it hanging there? Yes. It is a flying snake. Unfortunately, it's not flying, but there it goes. Watch in a moment.
Log on to WFSB.com and sign up for free mail. You'll get news and weather updates emailed directly to your computer each day.
A piece of naval history received a hero's welcome today in Newport News, Virginia. The gun turret from the Civil War ironclad USS Monitor arrived on a barge where it will remain while it's being preserved. The turret will eventually be on display at the Mariners Museum in Newport News, along with hundreds of other monitor artifacts.
A former pilot from Oregon says he always felt at home at the controls of a jet, so it makes sense that he would make a jet his home. 3 years ago, Bruce Campbell bought an old Boeing 727 and put it on his 10-acre property outside Hillsboro. That's in Oregon, and he's installed see-through floors to expose the jet's working parts. Can you imagine that? There's electricity, and once he hooks up a water hose, there will be running water in that thing. But Bruce has not found a spot for a bedroom just yet.
It's just me. I'm single. I'll likely always be single, and there's really no need for a specific location for a bedroom.
Campbell says it could be another year before he's ready to move into his dream home.
Isn't that something? And check this out. Leaping lizards, it's a flying snake. Wow! These tree snakes in Singapore actually spring into the air and fly. They can glide about 300 feet, 100 yards, and make 90-degree turns. Researchers say the moves help the snake leap between trees. They can chase prey and avoid predators by being able to do that.
And again, we don't have any of those around here.
No, I haven't seen any lately.
Okay, good. You'll let us know if you do.
If I do, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you very much. I'll be the first heading out the door.
No, Carolyn will be the first to know. She wants to know where all those little slithery things are.
Well, it's easy to find information on how to care for newborns, but what about new moms?
And we're going to have some advice right after the break, and ahead at 6, a special delivery on the way for people who live near the Millstone Power Complex in Connecticut.
Need a car? Click the Buy a Car button on WFSB.com to enter the GHADA used car lot. It's an easy way to find great cars at great prices from local dealers you can trust.
WFSB.com is your online source for eyewitness news. When you can't watch Channel 3, log on 24 hours a day for the most complete local news coverage.
Researchers have made a discovery that could one day make ulcers a thing of the past. How about that? The scientists have found the bacteria that attacks the cells attached to the wall of your stomach. These cells are supposed to help the body's immune system. And the experts hope to use this knowledge to create a vaccine that could stop those ulcer bugs in their tracks.
When a baby is born, it begins an exciting but exhausting journey for mothers. And while there's an abundance of information on caring for the baby, how about mom? HealthBEAT reporter Ellee has some advice.
I was caught completely off guard by the pain I experienced after childbirth. I was very frustrated by the absence of information.
Information on what to do after pregnancy. A mother of two, Sylvia Brown, read dozens of books on pregnancy but couldn't find anything to help her through her first year as a mother. So she wrote her own guide called the Post-Pregnancy Handbook. Sylvia says women go through so many physical and emotional changes after birth that they need guidance on how to deal with it all. For example, the guilt many women feel after birth.
A lot of people don't realize that many women don't fall in love with their baby immediately.
She also says no one teaches you that there are a few exercises that you can do to relieve the most common post-labor aches and pains, like curling your legs toward your stomach and making small circles with your ankles. Sylvia also offers tips on everything from breastfeeding to getting back in shape. On the HealthBEAT, I'm Ellie Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
New at 5:30 on Connecticut's news station.
A baby falls from a third-story window in Hartford. Tonight, we'll show you what went so badly wrong.
And
a popular summer destination spot is now a desolate strip of land. Why did the state let it get this way? And will families ever come here again? I'm Kara Sandlin with the story on Pleasure Beach.
Plus,
Martha Stewart is in a pressure cooker tonight as Congress plans a party she would rather not attend.
Also,
if you don't need it now, chances are you will someday. Tonight we'll learn some of the pitfalls to avoid when buying health insurance.
These stories and much more as Eyewitness News continues.